Hi everyone, it's Mrs. B. Welcome back to my channel. If it is your first time joining me, you're more than welcome. Please do subscribe and of course hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I upload a video. So, in today's video, we'll be talking about the influence that women have. I'll be talking about this because I should have recorded this last week, just towards the end of August, but I couldn't record in time. For that, I apologize. But since we're not far out from August, I can still talk about it, and I want to talk about the influence that women have, and I will talk about it on extreme ends, on the good side and on the bad side. However, I just want you to pay attention to why the enemy usually uses a woman to have so much. No, it's listen, the influential point of a woman is an ordained place for her to be in. She is meant to be submitted, whatnot. But the enemy is able to use that influence to either build or destroy a home. Ooh, so a woman can either build or destroy a home with the influence that she has. Right. So I want us to look at two extremes of women in the Bible where we find the positive influence and the negative influence. So I'll be starting by reading the book of Esther. Where's my Bible? Oh, Jesus. I'll be starting by reading the book of Esther, chapter. Oh, Jesus. And I'm sure you know by me merely mentioning the book of Esther who I want to talk about, right? So Esther is a queen, right? Who grew up under the leadership of Mordecai after her parents died, right? So Mordecai took her in and Wamkulis, right? And I want us to look at this extreme woman. So actually I should just start the story from the beginning. It's a very interesting book for you to read if you are like if you want to see the influence that women have. Please read this book. So apparently there was a queen named Vashti. She was beautiful, beautiful. And so her husband, who was the king, asked her to, I don't know if it was a party or something, asked her to come and display her beauty. So apparently there's a sermon that I was told about. Sissy told me about this. Pure, you know yourself. She told me about this and she said the king asked her to come and display her beauty, but in the original context or in the original text, it asked her to display her beauty naked. Whether or not that is true, I still have to discover and research. But she was asked to come and display her beauty, and she said no. So her refusing to come and say, "Hey, my lord, angifuni utalapho," that was a problem for the king. So he decided to get a new queen, or there was like suggestions for him to get a new queen because her display of disobedience to her husband worried him, in a sense of it will raise a movement of women that are insubordinate, that don't listen to their husbands, that are this, that are that, whatnot, right? So they brought virgins to the king's palace, and the king wanted to find a queen. So amongst those ladies was Esther, and Esther found favor in the eyes of the king, and eventually she was the queen, right? And so the king had this right hand man called Haman. Haman basically one day asked for people to pray him and kneel down before him. And Mordecai, who is Esther's uncle, was like, "Hey, no way, I'm not gonna do that. I only pray to the Most High God, the God of my fathers." So he was like, "I'm not gonna do that." And Haman was like, "You know what? Let's just destroy this nation. So let me just go to the king and get his approval to do this thing, and then we can kill those people." Mind you, You can read the book context. Mordecai had saved the king's life by snitching on some people who wanted to assassinate him. So Mordecai had saved his life prior, but he hadn't been compensated for his efforts, right? Fine. And then the king was told by Haman this idea of killing the Jews, whatnot, whatnot. And Mordecai was like, why should we as a nation die when we have a queen who's a Jew? So let me just ask her to talk to her husband, the king, and maybe she'll be able to like calm him down and ask him to like save us, or at least not permit this thing to go through, you know. But Haman had already sealed the deal. He was sure was these people are gonna die, right? And then let us read what Esther's move was. Like, I want you to see what Esther did before she could get to influencing her husband otherwise, right? Let us read the book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 16. When Mordecai sent this message to Esther, he said, when Esther responded to Mordecai's message, she said, go and gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan and fast for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. So basically, what she did, you see the positive, what she did before she went to the king was to God. That's the difference between these two extreme women. What Esther did was consult God first. So she went to God, they prayed, they fasted. But think about this. The king was a very, how should I put it? He was a very fast guy. For merely just saying, no, I can't be able to come and just display my beauty, you're removed from being a queen, and just like that, it's out. If you are asking him, can we please kill a nation? These people are this and this and this. He's like, oh, okay. Like, he's easy to influence. So she said she might perish, you know, because there's a certain rule, would see before ungena into the inner thing, that inner court. You without the king permitting it, you might die. So unless he raises up his scepter or scepter, I don't know how they pronounce it, his scepter, then you will be saved. But she went there, she asked God first, so that in her pursuit to influence her husband, she would have gotten a godly wisdom. So what I'm saying is, as a woman, as God's children, before we do anything, or before we have a say, or we influence our husbands, or yeah, I'm mostly speaking to women in a position that have influence over their husbands. Consult God first and ask for his wisdom before you say anything, because usually you might say something that will be to the detriment of your house and you will break it. So ukuhlakanipha kwethu sikuthola enkosini. We only find our wisdom from the Lord. So consult God first, pray to God first before you just merely say anything that might destroy eternity. Eve didn't even consult God, or at least even her husband, before eating of this fruit, because this serpent was just a weird thingy in the mix. He just came out of nowhere and was like, try this out. And should she have spoken to God or her husband about this, she probably wouldn't have done something that would be to the detriment of the whole world, right? And that influence she had, and influenced her husband to eating the fruit, and thus the whole world benefited, or as a consequence, fell into sin. I don't know if I'm making sense. I genuinely don't know if I'm making sense, but it makes sense in my head. Anyway, so she asked for prayer, and then she was wise about this. She went to the king and she told him, "My lord, please come and have a dinner with me in my room." This is me paraphrasing the story. It's a story time. "Please come with me. Just read the book of Esther. It's nice. Please come with me, and please come with Haman, your right hand man, so that you can have a dinner in my house and whatnot and whatnot." And Shem Gosiam, she had favor and it's in the eyes of the king, and he said, "I'll give you half of the land." Imagine this guy. This guy is just usho me more like it's in this guy nje ipower bemsanganisa, no offense. That's how I see it. Like the king was easily influenced. You say let's go this direction, he says let's do this. Let's go this direction. From what I see, right? And she was like, "Can we please have a dinner, please? And please invite your right hand man to come so that they can have a dinner and whatnot." Fine. And then she made her request at a dinner. And eventually, the king made a ruling that would favor not only just her, but it saved her nation. It saved the nation of the Jews. Why am I saying this? I am saying that if you use your influence rightly, you will have the outcome you want. But the outcome you want is only in seeking the wisdom of God. The outcome you want is only in seeking the wisdom of God. God will give you a way to which you can influence your husband to doing the thing that is right for you. Right? So don't overlook your position of being a wife, of being submitted, of being, you have influence. Woman, you have influence. Never look down on the influence you have upon your life or upon others. You have influence. You can either build or destroy, but there's too much power in your hands. Literally, we have influences on social media now. And at some point, I was like, "Oh, I want this foundation." And then I watched a reel by a certain influencer on Instagram. I was like, "Okay, let me just get that brand because she is using it as well." So if they can influence so easily by merely watching something, imagine a woman who has the influence and the spirit of the Holy Ghost upon her life and how much influence they have in their own household. So Esther is an example of a woman who saved her nation and used her influence with the wisdom of God to help her to help her save the lives of many, right? One, that's the first example. The second example is in the book of Judges chapter 13 or 16, between there. Let me just show you. Judges, I think it's, let me look at 16 first. Okay, so I'm gonna read. You know what's funny? So I'm talking about the Delilah and Samson situation. Firstly, Samson, with his non-thinking cop, he decided, "I am going to get a wife," and that wife was of the uncircumcised. Agakholwa, agasi, she's from the enemy's camp. How? Why would you get? And what's funny is, throughout, this lady would show, "Bro, I want to kill you." I'm serious. Go and read the book of Judges from chapter 13 to 16. She was like, he would give her riddles of, "Hey, if you tie me with the string of what and whatnot," and then the following day it would happen, and she was like, "You lied to me. How do you think that information got out to your enemy?" Guys, Samson was dumb. Like, you see the influence that a woman has. You see that influence that a woman has. Like, that was stupidity at its best. Like, literally, this person doesn't want you alive. She wants you dead, but you still gave her the secrets. So basically, chapter 16 verse 16 to 17, It says, and it came to pass when she had pressed him daily with her words. Ooh. Pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. Guys, the words we speak unto these people that God has blessed us with as husbands are either gonna build or destroy. So beware of what you speak about your husband. Oh, that was so good. So she didn't even need weapons to destroy him because Samson was on his own league, like a donkey's jaw to destroy 1,000 men. Hi guys, he was on his own level. She knew on a physical level. There's nothing I can do. But what she used to vex his soul was words. The tongue. Oh my goodness, that's so good. Wow. So she vexed his soul even unto death. So wait, let me read that verse again. It says, and it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. Guys, wow. Anyway, that he told her all of his heart. That was stupidity at its best. I'm sorry, stupidity. That was stupidity on Samson's part. Yo. And said to her, there hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God, and a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. So, do you think a woman wasn't able to tell, was it? This was a lie or the truth? Because Samson was saying not gonna tell her the truth. But he didn't know, was it? This girl has the power here to speak. And he vexed his soul even unto death. She vexed his soul even unto death, and she spoke and spoke, and he spilled the beans. He said, you know what, just cut my hair. If you cut my hair, I'm gonna be as ordinary is. And the funny thing is, I remember the Dr. MJ Mrauzi, he says part of the reason why Samson's strength was fascinating is because Samson was apparently a skinny guy. I don't know if that's true. I have to do my research. But apparently Samson was some kind of a skinny guy, and he was skinny, and yeah, but he had power. That's why the people were fascinated at the strength he had. Imagine a skinny guy holding a donkey's jawbone and destroying 1,000 people. Skinny guy. I guess the Bible is interesting at the times. So he told the truth eventually, and she was like, Delilah was like, actually, now that you're saying it, I've never seen you with your hair cut. Your hair is long. So your story corresponds with some things that you're saying. So your story must be true. So guess what she did? She put him on his lap, on the knees. And then, yo guys, wambeka, we all know the story of Delilah. Wambeka tingulini, wamshikisha, wambrasha, wakhuluma tindzaba lobathi nguSamson, wamjuba noel. Next thing, he was facing the Philistines, uboshiwe, and that's how his life ended. His life ended because, okay, fine, and then he, listen, that block that he pulled down destroyed not just the other people but him too. So beware of the influence. Listen, for men, beware of the woman that you surround yourself with or the woman that you marry. That woman will either make you or destroy you, make or break you. It's up to you. That's why as a man, before you get married, you must consult the Lord about her and whether or not she will help you fulfill the purpose that God has called you to fulfill on earth, because she's there as a help. She's a suitable help. And if you get a person who has the influence of the devil, she will destroy your life. Amen. So he got a woman from an uncircumcised nation. That woman destroyed his life by words. And by merely speaking those words, eventually told the truth, he lost his power and he lost. Right? But at the end of it all I'm saying is there are just two extremes of women. There's a woman who has good influence on her husband, and there's a woman who has bad influence on her husband as well. So all I'm saying is never look down on the influence that you have as a woman. Never look down on where God has positioned you to be. Just because God has said you have to be submitted to a man doesn't necessarily mean that your position is not important. You can be very effective in the position that God has placed you in. And yeah, I pray that God bless you, and I hope that it has helped you in one way or another. God bless you. I love you with the love of Jesus Christ.